Thank you for the introduction, and it's a pleasure of mine. And it softens my heart that these facilities are also mine because I not just worked in those, but I'm born in those, and it was my childhood's favorite places. But I choose another topic today, of course. Because my main topic is about museums and artifacts in Hungary. So let's start it. So, ladies and gentlemen, just a minute. Can you see my? Just a minute. Can you see my picture now?
Yes, we see your presentation.
Oh,
Yes, now it's full screen. Thanks.
okay, thank you. So let's start. My main topic is about the Hungarian industrial heritage museums and their artifacts. As like we know, the buildings are very important pieces of our heritage, but there are also other elements such as like objects, artworks, archaeological sites, relics, and living cultural costumes that are also needed to save for the future generations. The museums not just conserve the artifacts and maintain its buildings, but we are researching every human-made creations all over the world. I know the Czech and the Slovak museums quite well, and I know they have the same goals as we have. So it was an extra request to introduce what is the difference between the archaeological and artificial heritage defense in Hungary. First, I need to clear this properly before I start my lecture. My short answer: by the law, there is no difference. Both are part of the national cultural heritage, what is ratified by the 2001.64 law, what is also contains the archaeological and other cultural heritages. The only difference between the two heritage protection is the demonstration process. In Hungary, everyone can lodge archaeological heritage to the heritage bureaus, but the artificial heritage works another way. Every lawful museum and collection has the right to make an object to an artifact, and it is the privilege of the museologists. They will decide what is artifact and what is not. The privilege is to bring the object and ratify them as artificial heritage. It carries into effect by the 1997.64 law, but declares the functionality of the museums and libraries. The objects can come in by three ways into a museum, of course: collecting, buying, and offering. That's a silly question, I know. The second thing is who are the museologists. The second thing, what we need to discuss, that not everyone can fill these positions. It declares by the 2002 regulation, but dedicates who can be fill this position. Regulation says the specialists need minimum university degree according to the museum sector, and needs minimum 3 years of museum experience to fill this position. After that, they can hold up the museum professional system, designing the exhibitions, decides where and how they will put the artifacts, publish issues, and making lectures, and so on. This picture is also from Ost. It's the inner picture of the museum. I also worked in this place. Many people ask the question, why is the museum important for the cultural heritage? What are the museums good for? Nowadays, we always need to stand up and answer these stupid questions, believe it or not. First of all, many reconstructed buildings will be giving home for a museum where they show the old functionalities, as like Piroshka said it before. Secondly, what is more important, it helps us to make the people connected to the industrial heritage with their artifacts and with the introduction of the people of the past who achieved these accomplishments. These collections all over our countries try to convince the visitors day by day that these objects are part of their culture and they are deserve to save for the future generations. That's why our technical museums and the collections in our countries are a great allies in this struggle who are dedicated to represent these wonders to the masses. Now let me show how do we do it. In Hungary, more than 300 industrial heritage collections and mechanical open-air skins functioning now, and introduces almost every existed scientifically professions from the ancient times, but we don't know exactly how many we have because we don't have the data nowadays. Mostly they are financed by the government or towns, but many are held up by foundations or factories. It would be a half day if I introduce every one of them, so mainly I show the Hungarian Museum of Science, Technology and Transportation, but it's also the biggest industrial heritage museum in Hungary. It came into existence from the union of 7 integrated institute and the mechanical museums and the transportation museum, of course. And we have 7 integrated institute and we have 20,000 artifacts in our exhibition and in our warehouses. Let's start with the biggest one. The biggest one is the Northern Repair Station. Nowadays, the Transportation Museum is closed for reconstruction, so the main building moved to a temporary location. This place is also an industrial heritage site because it was always the Hungarian State Railway main repair station. It was built in 1875, but was extended every year ever since its existence. It always called the North Repair Station, but was always was the main repair hall for the National Railway Company. Now it's the home for 40 trains, 110 cars, and 80 other specific transportation objects, what is related to Hungarian engineers or companies. And I also choose the 2 representative objects from every museum, what I show. In here, one of my favorite is the 424th train, as like we call it, the bull. It was produced by the Ganz Mávag at 1924, and they produced 514 quantities from it. It weighs 90 tons and 21 meters wide. It was capable of 120 kilometers per hour maximum speed, but was a high achievement back to 1924. My other favorite is the 40 model, what was designed by Chief Engineer Joseph Galamb, and ever since that it is the most successful mass-produced automobile in history. Plus curiosity that Joseph Galamb and Joseph Pulitzer are born in the same town in Moscow. Nowadays, the museum is also not existing physically, but there are a lot of collections all over the country that are provide this function. One of the biggest collection is the Technical Studies Stores Museum in Budapest, but is functioning as a perspective warehouse and exhibition. Here we can find 19,000 artifacts in these spacious halls. Mainly it contains Hungarian investments, but we can find wide range of world patterns, first copies, power machines, technical achievements, everyday architects, household and electric devices such as telescopes, cameras, world clocks, computing and electric devices, the inventions of optics, participation mechanics, geodesies, and so on. 16,000 gadgets are in here. And here are the relics. One of the most important relic is Ányos Jedlik's special dynamo, what was powered by electricity, or we can find a microfloppy invention by Jánosi Marcel, who invented this type of model from the floppy, and also we can find the prototype of László Bíró's ballpoint pen, which was the first patent as well. And this is my favorite. I don't want it to miss it. This is the kitty. This was the first Hungarian artificial animal. It was preserved in Szeged in 1957. Their mechanics was based on the Pavlov reflex actions. This ladybird is able to follow the light and learn to follow sound instead of light. It also responds for physical effects. If you press one of 7 spots, it will hurt. Stop and refuse to do anything. You can appropriate this bug by stroking her back, and then she is willing to learn to follow the sound again. Here's my another favorite museum. Oh my, sorry for the picture, it's a bit in a bad condition. This museum was the first chemical thematical museum in Europe that was founded after the World War in Várpalota. As you can see, it's it's a castle from the modern age era, what was an important symbol of the struggle against the Turks. In the World War, it got a serious bomb hit, and after the reconstruction, it got a new functionality. They founded the National Heritage, the National Chemistry Museum in here in 1963. In 1990, the castle of Várpalota was announced to be the part of the national heritage. The museum permanent exhibition presents the history of chemistry in 4 sections: the age of alchemy, the initial chemistry technologies, the age of chemical industry, and the computer science in chemical industry. It shows various professions such as like classical alchemy, soap making, oil industry, water purification methods, polymerization, nuclear science, modern chemistry, and so on. But I think the museum's strength is in their extensive connection system, because it works with universities and companies. Their most important partner is the Panno University, what is not far from the museum. With the common interest, they make irregular lessons for the high school students to choose the Panno University. In the summer, they make summer camps for the youth where they visit the local chemical industrial facilities in the countryside to involve them into non-formal studies. It's beneficial for both the university and the museum that can improve their public relation activities with these occasions. And it's also beneficial for the companies and for the students, because the skilled chemists will find workplace immediately after they finish their studies. And here comes my favorite, because I also work in here nowadays. And my last introduction is my museum, what is the youngest in this list, but it contains many opportunities for the future. My museum collects all type of relics, but is connected to the aluminum. We have 4,500 artifacts from all over the world, but thanks to our activists, we improved this number rapidly day by day. As we know, Hungary had the rich bauxite fields in the past, and later a lot of processing industries settled in the region, and a lot of companies still has their interest with aluminum. You can see the head engineers of Alco in this picture, who come from all over Europe and visited our museum in this winter. Specific interesting fact that they are most interested in playable computers than the aluminum industry's past. And what we are really proud of, that we are a New Deal museum which contains a lot of modern elements to make public responsibilities. First, our exhibitions are 70% touchable, and we use many QR code introductions and mini games to extend our visitors' interests. Secondly, our services show the values of the environment protection. In our pedagogical courses, we built in the recycling methods and the importance of green energy. But we also show the aluminum industries has a lot of unhealthy methods under its process. On the other hand, we show that this recycling process of our metal is how advantageous, and it helps to reduce our ecological footage if we buy recycled products. Maybe we are a small museum and only two of us working here, but we have a lot of achievements in the last 3 years since the reopening. In our rooms, we give home for many industrial heritage conferences, and we have an extensive connection system all over the country thanks to our occasions. We have temporary exhibitions every year, while we always improve something in it. So I think I'm very proud of my museum and for my colleagues, of course. So let's put up. What can we tell about the industrial heritage museums? What are their strengths? First, they are conservate ancient technologies for us, so we can use it in the future if it will be needed. Secondly, it helps the people re-identify their local common identities where they lost their traditional profession. It's especially important to those regions that are part of the Rust Belt and economic booming not reach them. As like we spoke about those, it's a typical example for this. Our countries are full with the charcoal burn. Our countries are full with the charcoal burning sites, mines, ancient smelting facilities, glass-making manufacturers, mills, and foundries, but gives a romantical boost for the visitors, especially as someone is willing to tell them about their rich history. But we also need to speak about the weaknesses about our museums. Even the greatest museums in our capital cities cannot capable to extend themselves. The 99% of the museums are needed to finance, otherwise it will be closed. After the enclosure of these facilities, the tourist activities will fall rapidly because the region loses an important attraction opportunity, but will cause economical collapse because a lot of restaurants and hotels based on these sites. But museums or galleries reopening could trigger the opposite side effects. It could improve the tourist rate and indirectly could generate workplaces in the region, as like we do in Székesfehérvár. I wrote several studies about this actually. But the main problem is with the industrial heritage museums in Hungary that many sustainers think about these buildings and collections that these are worthless, and that is why the most of these structures are close to liquidation. Mostly these collections are underfunded and they are forced to self-sustain themselves, what is impossible. Without resources, the buildings and the collections get into a critical condition. Meanwhile, the skilled professionals leave the sector. If we don't convince the masses and the leaders about their values, it will be lost forever. And I think it's the most important part of our job. If we want to be effective to save our heritage, we need to work together in the future and share our practices and experiences so we can make even better job in the future. I take the opportunity and would like to invite you to our museums so we can continue this conversation personally. We have many things to save and many works to do, so I wish you good luck and prosperous activities, and I hope we can work together soon. Thank you.